First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, Bahasham Rachak Kodash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And today we're going to go into the book of 1 Corinthians, the 4th chapter. Let a man so account of us as of the ministers of Hamashiach and stewards of the mysteries of God. And here Paul is saying, don't think of us as anything more, right? If you were, to account us, make account of us as ministers or servants of Yahweh Shai and stewards of the mysteries of God. Moreover, it is required in stewards that a man be found faithful, right? A steward is one that is like set over the affairs of the house. And so in order to be in that position, you have to be found faithful. But with me, it is a very small thing that I should be judged of you or of man's judgment. Yea, I judge not mine own self. And here what Paul is saying is basically, in other words, like I care very little, if I'm judged by you or by any human authority, right? I don't even judge myself because my conscience is clear, right? Which is what he goes into in the 4th verse. So he's saying here, like his main sole purpose and focus here is on teaching the word. And guess what? One thing that the church at Corinth struggled with was pride. A lot of them were also very proud, and some to the point of even speaking against the Apostle Paul, right? Like almost questioning his authority. And as he's saying here, look, I'm telling you what it is as it is, right? I really don't care, how I am, judged by you, because even when it comes down to it, I don't even judge myself. And what he means by not judging himself is, as he says in verse 4, for I know nothing by myself, which is another way of saying that his conscience is clear, right? And when you say, for I know nothing by myself, what the meaning of that is like, I am aware of nothing against myself, right? My conscience is clear. Yet am I not hereby justified. So he's saying, even still, regardless, that doesn't justify me. Because, right, but he that judgeth me is the Lord, because the Lord is still going to judge me, according to his standards. So even if I find nothing wrong with myself and I don't judge myself because I know my conscience is clear, I know that my justification is based on the judgment of the Lord anyway. Therefore, judge nothing before the time until the Lord come, who both will bring to light the hidden things of the darkness or of darkness. And what he means by this is, when it comes to judging nothing before the time comes, because ultimately we don't know for certain what the Lord's final judgment is going to be, right? So you can't fully confirm or deny someone, prematurely in knowing, oh, that he's for certain, going to be delivered, or he's for certain, going to be of the elect, right? Because it's still up to the Lord's judgment. And when he comes, we'll know for sure. Right. And that's why he said he's going to bring to light the hidden things of darkness, because there may be somebody you look at thinking, yeah, this person is definitely, a perfect example, a man of the Lord. And then, behind the scenes, the things of darkness are not in line with what you may be seeing outwardly, and will make manifest the counsels of the hearts, right? The inner thoughts and intents of everyone's heart. And then shall every man have praise of God. So at that point, the Lord himself is going to give the final verdict. And then you can know, okay, all right, this person, you can praise them, right? Because truly they are, justified, or they are, one of the elect, or this person is not, So at that point, it's not going to be a premature judgment, right? It'll be established. Like we'll know for certain who's who and what's what. Verse 6, and these things, brethren, I have in a figure transferred to myself and to Apollos for your sakes. And when he says in a figure, it means like he has used himself and Apollos as an illustration to demonstrate this point that ye might learn in us not to think of men above that which is written, that no one of you be puffed up for one against another. Right. And what he's saying, like I said, is he used himself and Apollos as like an illustration to teach them a lesson, right? To get a point across that, as he says, that you might learn in us, right? In the example I'm using here, not to think of men above that which is written, meaning, stay within the bounds of the scriptures. Don't, extol men above that which the Lord has appointed them to be. Okay. And as it says, that no one of you be puffed up for one against another, right? So don't be high-minded and proud, exalting yourselves or one teacher or one leader above another. For who maketh thee to differ from another? And what hast thou that thou didst not receive? Now, if thou didst receive it, why dost thou glory as if thou hadst not received it? Now read this in the NLT as well. For what gives you the right to make such a judgment? What do you have that God hasn't given you? And if everything you have is from God, why boast as though it were not a gift? Ye are full. Now ye are rich. Ye have reigned as kings without us. And I would to God ye did reign, that we might reign with you, or we also might reign with you. And here, Paul is basically, speaking in the sense that you guys are getting ahead of yourself, right? You're proud, you're being high-minded, you're acting as though you're already in the kingdom, like you already have dominion, you're already, reigning. And the NLT says you think you already have everything you need. You think you are already rich. You have begun to reign in God's kingdom without us. I wish you really were reigning already, for then we would be reigning with you, right? So he's saying, you think you're already there. I mean, I wish you were, because if you were, then that means, we would all be there, right? Because the time of the reward would be here, but that's not the case. Verse 9, for I think that God has set forth us, the apostles, last, as it were appointed to death. For we are made a spectacle unto the world, and to angels, and to men. NLT, instead, I sometimes think God has put us, apostles, on display, like prisoners of war, when it says appointed to death, at the end of a victor's parade, condemned to die. We have become a spectacle to the entire world, to people and angels alike. We are fools for Hamashiach's sake, but ye are wise in Hamashiach. We are weak, but ye are strong. Ye are honorable, but we are despised. Even unto this present hour we both hunger and thirst, and are naked and are buffeted, and have no certain dwelling place. And labor, working with our own hands, being reviled, we bless, being persecuted, we suffer it. So he's saying, look, while we're here suffering for Hamashiach's sake, being made fools for Hamashiach's sake, you're being, high-minded, you're considering yourselves so wise in Hamashiach, right? We're weak, but you are strong. And I'm going to read this in the NLT. It says, our dedication to Hamashiach makes us look like fools, but you claim to be so wise in Hamashiach, right? Like we taught you, right? But you are moving as though you got knowledge above us, right? While we are considered weak, but you are so powerful, right? You are honored, but we are ridiculed. And NLT, even now we go hungry and thirsty, and we don't have enough clothes to keep warm. We are often beaten and have no home. And Paul is speaking about the things that they had to suffer, and that they continue to suffer for the ministry's sake. And labor, working with our own hands, being reviled, we bless, being persecuted, we suffer it. NLT, we work wearily with our own hands to earn our living. We bless those who curse us. We are patient with those who abuse us. Being defamed, we entreat. We are made as the filth of the world and are the offscoring of all things on to this day. NLT says, we appeal gently when evil things are said about us, yet we are treated like the world's garbage, like everybody's trash right up to the present moment. I write not these things to shame you, but as my beloved sons, I warn you. So Paul is saying here, like, yeah, he's making it sound like like while we're actually laboring and suffering for Hamashiach, you're moving like everything is all set, like you're already in the kingdom. You're high-minded, you're proud, you're honored, like that's how you're living. And I'm not saying these things to make you feel bad, but rather to warn you to be careful of that mindset that you're in. For though ye have 10,000 instructors in Hamashiach, yet have ye not many fathers. For in Hamashiach Yahushai, I have begotten you through the gospel. So you may have 10,000 different teachers and instructors, but you only have one, spiritual father. And what he means by that is not like he is trying to play the role of God or the Most High, but he's saying like I begot you in this gospel, right? I first preached it to you and planted the seed of Yahushua in your minds. So I'm likened onto your spiritual father in a sense. And what that comes with is I'm not just gonna, just be like any old teacher, but I'm gonna care for you as, going up a verse, my beloved sons. Wherefore I beseech you, be ye followers of me. So follow my example. For this cause have I sent unto you Timotheus, who is my beloved son, right? Not his literal son, but his spiritual son, and faithful in the Lord, who shall bring you into remembrance of my ways, which be in Hamashiach, as I teach everywhere in every church. So he's going to come and he's going to set you in order, all right, and remind you of how you ought to behave, like how I behave in the Lord. Now some are puffed up as though I would not come to you. So you got some among you that are moving so proudly, like as though I wasn't already there. Like you act as though I can't come over there, like I won't come over there and come see you. I set you up. I was amongst you for was it 18 months or so? And I leave, and this is how you're behaving. But I will come to you shortly, if the Lord will, and will know not the speech of them which are puffed up, but the power. I read this in the NLT. But I will come and soon, if the Lord lets me. I will come and soon, if the Lord lets me. And then I'll find out whether those arrogant people just give pretentious speeches or whether they really have God's power. So those among you that are talking proudly, that think you're so high up, let's see what you're really about. Let's see if you really have the power of God when I come over there. For the kingdom of God is not in word, but in power. What will ye? Shall I come unto you with a rod, or in love and in the spirit of meekness? So, you decide, right? NLT, which do you choose? Should I come with a rod to punish you, or should I come with love and a gentle spirit? And he's kind of saying like that all depends on your attitude and your reception of this epistle. Because if you are still being disorderly, then you're choosing that I come on to you with the spirit of the rod to correct you. And that brings us to the end of the book of 1 Corinthians, the 4th chapter. Lord willing, that was edifying to the elect. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Recha Kodash. Until next time, Shalom.